Welcome back, young readers. Today I'm going to continue on to Chapter 3 of Vlad, the World's Worst Vampire. Vlad and Flit spent hours talking through Flit's plan. They argued over the details, but eventually they had everything sorted out. The night was giving way to dawn when Vlad heard footsteps making their way along the creaky landing to the east wing. "Quick!" said Flit. "It's Drax!" "I hope this works," Vlad whispered. "I know Father gets dizzy easily, but will it be enough?"
"It's too late now. He's coming. Hide."
Vlad crept over to the suit of armor in the corner of his room and hid inside while Flit whizzed around the dark and dusty rafters. "Vlad," Drax called, pushing open the door. "Have you been practicing? I want to see you turn into a bat."
"Whee!"
cried Flit, zooming down from the ceiling at top speed.
"I've done it,
he squeaked as he flew in tight circles around Drax's head. "What's that? Slow down, I can't see you properly," Drax shouted, swatting his hands at Flit. "Is that really you, Vlad?"
"Yes,"
shouted Flit, flying faster and faster.
"It's really me. I've morphed into a bat. Are you proud of me, Father?"
Drax was spinning around, trying to get a good look at the bat. Yes, very good," he said, his voice becoming faint. "Slow down, you're making me dizzy," he cried.
"That's just the problem,"
Flit squeaked, making his voice sound panicky.
"I don't think I can slow down."
"Well, you'll just have to try," Drax gasped. Suddenly the dizziness got the better of him, and he fell to the ground in a heap.
"Quick!"
Flit whispered, flying over to the suit of armor.
"Let's go before he comes around."
Vlad pushed open the suit of armor and stared at his father lying on the floor. "Is he going to be all right?" he whispered.
"He just fainted, that's all. He'll be fine. Come on, follow me,"
said Flit. Vlad tiptoed to his coffin, where he had stashed his skateboard ready for a quick getaway.
"Don't forget your inhaler, Master Impaler,"
Flit giggled softly. Vlad grabbed his inhaler and his skateboard and headed for the door. The floorboards creaked as Vlad made his way out of the room, down the long corridor and through the dusty house. But the house was always groaning, as he told himself not to be scared. Flit flew ahead, using his incredible sense of hearing to listen out for Mortimer. When they reached the hall, a chink of light shone through the heavy velvet curtains that covered the front door.
"This is our chance,"
said Flit.
"Let's go."
Vlad pulled the hood of his cape up over his head and slowly lifted the latch of the heavy front door. Sunlight rushed in through the opening, and Vlad flung an arm up over his face to block the fierce rays. "Wow," he gasped, blinking. "It's really hard to see, Flit," he said. The little bat hovered in front of his face.
"You'll be okay, as long as you keep your hood up and don't look directly at the sun."
Vlad did as Flit said, closing the door behind him as softly as he could. Then he pulled his hood down even farther, wrapped his cape around himself to protect his pale skin from the sunlight, and followed the little bat through the graveyard.
"Be ready to duck behind a gravestone if anyone comes,"
Flit squeaked. "All right," Vlad said. "I'm getting used to the sun already, you know. It actually looks quite pretty here in the daylight," he added, as he made his way between the tombstones. "Those are nice," he said, pointing to a patch of yellow and white flowers growing in the grass.
"Hurry up,"
said Flit, fluttering along beside him.
"If someone looks out the window, they'll see us. You know Grandpa doesn't sleep well these days."
Vlad thought again. about Grandpa walking around the graveyard at night. Did he miss all those cousins and uncles and aunts who still lived in Transylvania? It would be much more fun to meet them than learn about all the boring dead relatives in my history lessons, he thought. Vlad had once suggested a trip to visit the rest of the Impeller family. He'd never met them, and he liked the idea of getting to know his Transylvanian cousins. But his mother had said she would be glad if she never saw any of those people for the rest of her life, and that was the end of that. His mother must really dislike them if she didn't want to see any of them for a good 600 years. Vlad followed Flit down the hill to the town, glancing around anxiously. As they reached the bottom of the hill, Vlad's nerves almost overwhelmed him. He tried to distract himself by remembering the best bits of Jollywood Academy. Think about the games they played in the playground, he told himself, and the stories the teacher tells them. If only I can find a place like Jollywood Academy.
That would have been much faster if you could fly,
Flit sighed. For once in my life, I don't have to worry about flying. I can whiz along on my skateboard like a human now that we're on flatter ground. Watch. Vlad dropped his skateboard onto the pavement and hopped on, pushing off with one foot and zooming past a cluster of houses and shops. That's the end of this chapter. Please join me for chapter 4 in the next video. Thank you.